And what I'd like to talk about now is kind of the field trips that we took in terms of going to visit different facilities to get a better idea of the beach management. So the first facility that we did visit is the city of Fort Lauderdale and their composting facility. And Mark, Alme, if you have anything to add when I'm presenting, please feel free to add as well. So for the Fort Lauderdale composting facility, as Mark has mentioned, they've been doing this for about 13 years. So they use barber surf rigs to collect their seaweed, and then they transport it to Snyder Park, where their sargassum compost pile is located. And this just shows you a little video of how the barber surf rig works in terms of collecting the seaweed and sargassum from the beach. So they transport, once they collect the seaweed and sargassum from the beach, it is transported to Snyder Park. And their facility at Snyder Park, they just kind of collect their seaweed there and they let it decompose. And you can see the extent of their pile, which took them about 13 years to get there. But you can see that it's massive in terms of what we're used to seeing for composting of the sargassum. So whenever they do bring fresh seaweed or sargassum from the beach, they dump it into one location. And you can see that there is trash in the sargassum, but they do remove it when they're ready to use the sargassum or use it in the city. But you can see that just the amount of sargassum that is collected from the beach and then brought to the facility as a resource that can be used later on. So then one thing that we noticed that was really interesting is just on top of the compost pile, there is growth of plants. So that just goes to show you whatever that they have there, it can be used to grow some sort of plants as well. And then with our visit, we did collect 2 different samples. We collected an old compost sample, which you can see is very dark in nature. And we have the new compost sample, which still has that kind of golden tinge to it that is kind of represents the sargassum that was still collected at the beach. So you can still see that golden hue on the newer compost compared to the older compost. Oh, Mark, did you have anything to add before we move on?
Just to state that we have a very large project that we're doing as we speak on one of our major boulevards, where we're using the seaweed dirt, the processed material on our Sistrunk Boulevard in multiple beds to facilitate growth of green island ficus, some silver buttonwood, and gold mound Duranta, and it has never let us down. It hasn't failed us yet. So we're looking forward to a successful planting project right now.
Thank you. And then